Our weather is telling us we're going to get 3 to 4 days of snow consistently at 1 centimeter an hour. So we're in for a big snowfall. So the hammer finally dropped. But I just went out and plowed to get access to my studio. So this is just day one, and it's been snowing for about 12 hours now. So it's a lot. Here's a view you haven't seen of the studio before from the LaHaye Bakery. And so you can see how close I am to the water. I think we're the lucky ones in Nova Scotia because the snow is a lot, but I'm hearing about places that had 3 to 5 feet of snow. I think we only got a foot to 15 inches, and I've spent 3 days shoveling and cleaning it up. So I think we were the lucky ones. I'm not expecting any customers later today. Okay, when you run a roller slab out, if you're lucky, you've got a slab roller. But if you aren't lucky, you've got a lump of clay, some sticks either side of the lump of clay, setting your thickness of the slab, and then a piece of plastic underneath or a piece of canvas. You can use either one. And to start it, you just sort of bang down your lump. Use a rubber mallet if you want to. And you can actually knock it in a little bit if it's getting too wide. But you basically just want to get something to start from. And then you just use your pastry roller. Set the sticks there, and then just roll backwards and forwards. And if you want to keep the width a certain width, just use your sticks to tap it back in a bit. You can set your sticks a little further apart if you want. Now when you hit the sticks, make sure the clay isn't going over the edge. That gives you an error in the thickness there, so tap them in again. Make sure you stay on the sticks. And that's it. That's how to get an even thickness slab when you don't have a slab roller. Okay, the slabs I just rolled out have firmed up for about 1 hour. So they've lost their really tacky quality. There you go. And now I'm just using some homemade push kind of forms. These I got from Michael's Crafts, and they were square, and I sanded off the corners to give it a more, I guess that's more of a hexagonal kind of look, it was just using that sand machine that I showed you the other day that I got from that Vevor company, and it was quick, instant practically. I haven't done anything with them. They're a little, they're a little varnished, but I just leave them the way they are. But I thought they were so weak, they're very thin, that they would probably break and snap, and one did, so I was correct in that. So I put the piece of 2x4 on the back and put 2 screws in to hold it. Put some wood glue in between, that strengthens it. So now when I push them, they're a little bit stronger. But what I do, I've got my slab, and I measured it when I was rolling it so that it's the right size. So I use that while I'm rolling just to do that. And I'm cutting with about a 3 centimeter edge. And you can use a ruler if you are worried about not getting it straight. So I simply do that both sides. And you can use any edge you want. You know, 1 centimeter would just be like a little raised plate. 3 is a nice dish, but you could go bigger if you want to. And I'm simply cutting the other sides, making sure that that's pretty close. It's the storm that we've been having, I showed you at the beginning of the video, dropped 150 centimeters of snow in eastern parts of Nova Scotia. And I don't think we got more than about 35 to 40 centimeters here. So we've been very lucky. But the wind has been blowing really vigorously for 3 days now. I've had to be feeding my pigeons outside because those guys are really struggling. And the seagulls just, you know, go in the water because the water's warmer than the air. And they just face the wind. How do all these wild animals manage to survive winters like this? I guess we see penguins in the Antarctic, and you always wonder like how they survive. Okay, so that's the size that I want. So now I've got to transfer this and slide it onto my foam, which I'll show you next. Now I have an assortment of stamps, rollers, you know, but there's all of these ones that are available to you on Amazon, and most ceramic supply places carry texture rollers and stamps now. So I would urge you to make yourself some clay ones as well, because those are free, except for your labor, of course. And we have a couple hundred of those. But I'm going to do this one with things that are available to you right on your ceramic supply places. So this is made by MKM. It's a roller with these fittings you can get. So this is a very easy project with stuff that's readily available. And when you do this edge, don't press hard, because if you press hard and it's got like lines in the design, you can encourage cracks at the edge of your piece. And this clay is 516 from Pottery Supply House, so it's almost like a porcelain. But I've noticed that on pottery that you press near the rim edges, you can actually encourage cracks. So just be light at the edge, and I don't press enough to press all the way down to the bottom either. It's just pressed in about halfway down that edge. And then I'm using this Celtic kind of image. And that gives me a nice kind of border pattern. And there's an assortment of other things you can use. I can't remember where I bought this one from, but it kind of fits in the middle there, so I'm going to use this one because it's exactly the right length. Now you can roll fabric into your clay, you know, paper doilies, lace, textural corduroy fabrics. There's a lot of things you can texture clay with. So, but this is to try and do something that you can get things and do this project with stuff that's readily available. And that's a nice texture. So I'm now going to roll this and push it in. Sixth part is just put your fingers underneath the paper and tip the thing and let it roll right off evenly. And then take some really thin plastic This is very thin plastic. It was just something that I got when somebody delivered something to me. So it leaves very little creases if you've got little edges folded in there, and they don't show up in the clay very easily. Place these, like I said, I got these from Michael's Crafts and then sanded the edges so that they're actually made into a nicer shape. I think they're just meant for painting numbers on for houses or something, but they make great forms if you can add a piece of 2x4 there. Place it in the middle, and then using this piece of foam, which I got from my furniture, Michael's Fabrics, no, it was Joanne Fabrics, that's right, and you just push down several times in from north, south, east, and west. You've seen this, there's lots of people doing this on the internet. Alright, and then placing this. So what I next do is push my little board right into the edge of the foam, grab the paper and the plastic, which is holding the piece, and then just slide it right onto the board again. So we got this right there. Lift this out. Lift the plastic out. And then I'll actually clean it up. Next thing you have to do is get this paper back onto the board. So I use a wet paintbrush and just push the paper down. You don't want to pull it because it'll pull the wall flat again. And as soon as you've got it released, you never throw these away, paper towel rolls, and you can push it, just bend it down and pull up a little bit and push it underneath, and you can support that wall so it won't flatten again, because it's soft clay obviously from the pushing it down, just very soft clay. So you push that down. This one's not going down at all, but I'm still going to put it there. Because it just supports it a little bit. And then the end ones you support with toilet rolls. And you can sponge the edges while you're doing this part of it. And then just place a toilet roll. You don't need it actually at this point because the edges are not wide enough. This one needs it. Depends on how much it's down. But the way I do it is I push it in and roll it and push the thing underneath, and it lifts it up a little bit more because it matches the other one then. This one's hanging down a bit, so I'm going to pull that up. See, the roll came out again. And then look to see if it's fairly even. There's a little dip in that one, not so in that one, but just go along with your paintbrush and smooth it. This is a buckled up toilet paper towel roll, so make sure you don't let it follow the shape. If your toilet roll or paper towel roll has got creases in it, you don't want to take that because it's like a print. The clay would form into them. But that looks good. That's fine. Now it's ready to put handles on. So he has the bean series, and it's just this one's a heart, and this one has less of a groove in it. I should show you. There's the heart, and this one is the bean and all that. So I'm not sure which I like the best. I like the heart a lot, but I might try the bean one this time. There's also an oval, and that's the heart one I was using already. And then there's a round. This one gives you a double groove, and I like that one a lot. So maybe I'm going to use that one after all anyway. And then there's just a coil one where you can make certain size coils over and over again with it. So there's quite a lot of choice here. Now I'm going to try and make my handles the same length each time. So I'm just going to use this stick and roll it over. I wonder if that's long enough. Probably could go one. Well, make a mark there and can get a little bit longer just by doing that. So it's 3.5 sticks. I'm going to try and do it on the plastic and see if I get away with it. And then this is where and then I'm going to roll it over again, roll it over again. So we've got 3, make the mark, and then do a half a length again. So I'm not sure whether I should take this off the plastic or not, but I'm going to try one with it on the plastic. I can get rid of this piece because it's actually not going to be used. And so just placing it down, push it in and pull it along. And it pulls it right out. When I put my finger and finish the pull, and then it gives me that. I like that shape, that's why I'm going to use that one. And it came off very easily. So we've got 6, maybe I should try the, yeah, I'll do the bean again. No, maybe I should try a different one. Okay, I'm going to try this one, which is called a bean. This is the bean. And what was the other one called? The other one was the round. The one I just used was called round. Same again, come down. Now I'm going to try it not attached to the plastic, just the slab. I just placed it on this little bat. What about another shape? I've got the heart. I think I like the heart. I'm going to try more with the heart. Should we go and get shorter handles again? You don't need a really long. So those will all be same length. Down here I can make them a touch longer. So we're doing the one with the double groove. There you go. I think that might be a bit short. Let's have a look at this. That'll probably work. Right. The handles are about 10 minutes old, 15 minutes old at the most. So they're very soft, in other words. The trays, some of these are a couple of hours old. So I am not convinced that I can join without scoring and scratching on these ones, but I'm going to wet the area where they've got to go. They're going to be squeezed right over the top of the edge there. So I'm just going to feel it. They're very movable. So just with it, whoops, wet that handle again. I just marked it, but so basically still very soft there. So I've got these little handles that we just made. I'm using the brush along them like that just to give them a bit of smoothness, and the moisture will help them in this kind of heavy bending that I'm going to do. But I actually turn them over like that, place them where I think they're going to need to go, which is right there like that. I'm going to use my thumb and my forefinger. Let's get them in the right position, and then just push down over the wall of the pot and just squeeze with my fingers like that, tight over the actual wall, and let go, and that's the handle. Now it can be left like that if you want to, but I'd like to smooth it in. I like things to look like they're part of the form, so I'm just going to use the paintbrush. This is held together with duct tape. I love this paintbrush. I'm going to find out where I bought it. But then I'm just rubbing in with my finger behind the wall so I don't not make the wall go down. And the same on the underside. Just to blend in so that the line is not, I mean, there is a potential if you've got an edge that it might crack a little bit. Same again with this one now. I'm going to place it right where I think it needs to go. Take a look. And then it's wet on that wall, so I just push down around the wall and press in, and just moving my fingers and thumb backwards and forwards so really kind of compress and get that in there. So without any scratching and scoring, but the amount of pressure I was putting on was a lot for that little piece of clay. And I wet the clay before I did it so that any little creases, which you can see a little few creases opening up there with that, so that was a lot of bending on that little piece of clay. Some clays are very plastic and you can do that. This is a sort of very porcelain-like clay, so it's not as plastic. The wind is howling still out there. We've had no snow today though. We had 2.5 days of snow, so that's enough. Okay, so that's going in, and then just to make sure, I'm going to brush the back of this because there's some little creases opening up there. I kind of do that backwards and forwards. It'll help to fill in those creases with some slip from the other clay. And these have to dry in a damp cupboard or covered in plastic, because the handle will dry faster than the body of the pot. And that's a nice little handle for a small tray like that, very small, short handle. And you can decorate it. I could make a couple of, do you have any spare clay here? Out of a bag of clay, that's what I have left. So I could actually give a couple of accent decorative little spirals here.
The pressure of the stamp, if I push onto these, helps the joint anyway. There you go. Just something extra. They've got lots of texture on these anyway, as a clay fell in. And that's finished. So that's a fairly quick and easy pot to make. And now I'm going to do all the rest, and I'll show you when they come out of the kiln what they all look like.